guys, we are continuing our series around trauma, and I want to unpack a few things today that might be indicators or signs for us that we might have actually suffered from some kind of trauma. Now, with any issue or with any problem, the very first step is I have to acknowledge that there's an issue. Okay. And for some of us, we may have really a really good overcoming mentality, but in that wanting to overcome and wanting to just fundamentally be okay, we may have been pushing past some signals and some pain signals. Now, if we've experienced trauma, I do liken it to a truck has just literally driven into your living room. It's going to reverberate through every part of life. And that's the nature of what trauma does. So, what we need to do is rediscover, and this is an essential part of trauma healing recovery, is rediscover our sense of agency. That means that I can actually do something about this. And this is why I want us to give us some simple steps so that we can begin to feel like we are in navigating our own lives again, not that we've just been completely hijacked. So the first thing is recognition, recognizing that something has happened, as we looked at in the last video. Something has happened that's been so seismic for us that it has broken down our ability to cope in life. And some of the things that may be signs to us, one is extreme fear and anxiety. Another is that we become hyper vigilant. I can remember life before trauma and life post trauma. Hypervigilant means that I am always on the lookout for what is going to go wrong, what is going to happen, what is going to, an accident that could happen to my kids. It's a driving fear. It's something that could happen to me, and we're on the lookout for it all the time. And even subconsciously, our bodies kick into, I describe it as my motor is running too hot, the cortisol is up, my adrenaline is running. A small thing can trigger a massive fight or flight reaction. And I may be thinking, I remember at times looking at my body going, what are you doing? Would you just calm the heck down? So a hypervigilance, high levels of fear. There's going to be physical symptoms when we experience trauma, repetitive headaches, migraines, tension in our bodies, stomach complaints, issues. You may be unaware that you carry yourself in a particular way, usually quite a self-protective stance that puts strain on your body, on your muscles. And so maybe sometimes there can be referred pain in there. Another thing that an indicator of trauma is having difficulty trusting in people, in situations. I know something for me that took a long time to come out was a huge amount of anger, actually anger of the situation that I found myself in. There's things called avoidance behaviors. It is where we don't want to face things, and so we find ways to avoid. We find ways to run away from the pain. These can be numerous different things. This could be massive internet shopping, it could be porn, it could be food, it could be alcohol, it could be some kind of chemical dependence. But what we're seeking to do is pacify the pain, because when trauma comes in, oftentimes our mind has trouble because it's so seismic for us, wrapping our head around it, because that's how we would normally navigate things, right? We find some level of understanding, we can process the emotions, and we can, move through. But with trauma, it's like you get stuck. You can get stuck, and your brain cannot process in the way that it wants to. And so the pain resurfaces. Maybe there might be triggers. We talk about being triggered, but maybe there are flashbacks. Maybe you're reliving that row, that relationship breakdown, that period of time when the business failed, or whatever it is, that you're reliving it again and again and again. And it's on repeat, 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 because your poor old brain can't find a resolution. It cannot find a way of working out how to leave that thing alone. So that's another sign that maybe you've been experiencing trauma. Sleep disturbances, that's really common, where just maybe you wake up in the night like this, or maybe you just can't go to sleep, or maybe you just wake multiple times. I can really relate to that. Sometimes, you get something called just brain fog. Just your systems are working so hard, they're overwhelmed, and the ability to think clearly and to process things clearly. The last thing I just want, there are numerous symptoms that we can alert, but the last one is being hyper reactive, emotive. We may react to things. I know in the past, I've literally found myself like running from one room into another, getting into the other room and thinking, even I know I'm overreacting here. What is going on? So sometimes we can be highly reactive, highly emotive. Listen, there is hope. If you or you're living with someone who is, and it may take somebody else. I know it took some other people coming to me saying, we are really concerned about you. We don't think that you are okay. And because of the love, I was able to listen and begin to explore, because everything in me was like, but I'm a happy person, I'm an overcoming person, I'm a strong person, but actually I wasn't okay. So maybe there's someone in your life who's flagging with you, we are concerned about you, are you okay? There is no shame in this. If trauma has come in, there is a pathway through. There are some very key tools and mechanisms, and the order of those is really important. So I'm going to do some more videos around the trauma topic. If it is you, please get in touch. We are running a course. We run courses of how to heal and recover from trauma, and we would love to be your support should you identify yourself amongst that list. Chat to you more on this really important topic. And guys, let's just be honest. There's so much around trauma right now. We don't want to, and I think a lot of people shy away from accepting that they might have experienced trauma because they don't want to be a victim. And I get that. I understand that. You don't have to be a victim to acknowledge that actually there's some things here that I'm not okay, and I want to find my way back to wholeness, back to healing, back to freedom, get my agency back, get a sense that I'm partnering, I'm directing my life again, and there is life on the other side. There really truly is. And you don't have to stay in the midst of trauma or being hijacked by some of the symptoms we've been talking about. God bless you. Look after your lovely self, and I'll chat to you again soon. Bye bye.